This is going to be a short video on how to enroll in classes at IU Southeast. If you haven't already done so, you need to first have an appointment with your academic advisor. This will allow you to know what courses that you need to take in what order so you can graduate or be on track to graduate on time and or in the most logical path to completing your degree. So if you've not had an appointment with your academic advisor and you have questions on what classes to enroll in, you can go check out our other video on how to schedule an appointment with your academic advisor if you do not know how to do so. If you do know how to do so, then go ahead, schedule your appointment, and revisit this video after you've met with your academic advisor. So once you have completed an academic advising appointment, you will need to navigate to one.iu.edu, which is essentially the hub for all things that are related to the university, which you can type that into the web address bar at the top of your browser, or if you are on our athletics website, you can go to the Inside Athletics section, and under University Info, it's the second choice, one.iu.edu. That will get you there just the same as typing it into the web address. So once you get to your 1IU account, you need to sign in the top right. And then once you do so, if it is not listed there, we're just going to go ahead and search for the Student Center. And then when those are brought up, you need to select the one that has this little blue tile and it says SIS under it. And this is going to take you to your Student Center, which is the hub for most things that have to do with you academically and financially, or really all your information as a student here at IU Southeast. So this will bring you here. If you have any holds, there's a lot of things that'll go, but I'm not going to go into too much detail on this because we're just going to go to the class search section as that we're trying to learn on how to enroll in classes. So if you are trying to enroll in a certain session, whether it be summer, spring, or fall, make sure you select the correct term that you're wanting to schedule classes for. It may not always populate what you think it should, so double check your term first. And for this example, we're going into the spring of 23 at the time of this video, so I'm just gonna go ahead and have spring of 23 selected. Years will probably be undergrad already populated there. If it isn't, if you're an undergraduate student, select that. Obviously, if you're a graduate student, select those. And then we're going to start with one of the most simplest ways to actually search for classes is by the course code numbers. So a lot of like business classes, for example, are BUS hyphen and then following a letter. So we'll just look up BUSA. That's going to be our subject code. You can also if you don't want to search and type it in, so let's take that out, you can search for whatever it is here. So you can do the same and get BUSA business here. If you know the specific course number, which you should, if you've had a meeting with your academic advisor, we'll go 201 and we'll hit enter to search. That'll be our introduction to financial accounting. This brings up this class, and you can do this obviously with every class that you need to do. When you need to go look for different classes, you'll reset filters, which I'll show you again here in a minute. But one thing to notice is, as you can see here, there's going to be a pretty bold breakdown of this is the name of the course with the course just, name and number next to it. And then each different section here is a different, what we call section of the class. So it's the same class, but it may be offered on different days during a different time of the semester. As you can see here on this third one, this 8-week or 8W2 stands for the second 8-week class. So instead of being a traditional class that you take for the entire semester, you would only take it during the second 8-week period. And as you look over here on the closer to the right-hand side of the screen, it says the dates that you would take this class. So it'd be February 28th through April 24th, instead of taking it, January 9th to the end of the semester on May 2nd. A couple other things I do want to help you notice here is if you look at the room, if it's an in-person class, it will say the days that it is required to be there. So this is a Tuesday, Thursday class, which starts at 1:15, ends at 2:30, and the room is in Crestview Hall 111. Your instructor for this class would be Lisa Book. Like we'd already addressed, the dates for the class, how many credit hours, that's what units stands for here. So this is a 3 credit hour course. And then status, this is going to tell you if it's open and then how many seats in the class are available. So out of 40 that can be in this class, there's 35 enrolled. So that means there's 5 open seats. So that is what that means. And then on the far right, it'll say instruction mode, and this is going to be a in-person class. The one below it is the same course, so it's still going to be your Introduction to Financial Accounting, Business A201, but instead of having the information here on what days start and end, this is an online class, and instructor is different. Dates are the same. There's obviously a different amount of people enrolled in this one, still 3 hours, but then you can see here that it's offered 100% online. We will do another search because I will try. There's 3 types of instruction mode courses here. You can have a full 100% in person. There's a 100% online option, but then there's also a hybrid option as well. So you will look for whatever course style and whatever matches your schedule. And that's one of the good things about online classes is they give you some schedule flexibility if you need to be, in practice, or you have certain days that you need to avoid for practices, games, whatever it be for your respective sport. This allows you to try to schedule your classes with as little conflicts as possible. So if you want to enroll in this Tuesday, Thursday section of your Introduction to Financial Accounting, when you click on the expand little caret arrow on the left, it gives you a lot more information about the course. But then down on the right of that section, it'll give you the opportunity to either add to cart or enroll. There's really no perfect way to do it. It is all preference. If you want to search for each class and then enroll in them, you would just click enroll. And then if the class is full, you can select to waitlist if it's full. If it's not, you click save, and then it will enroll you in that class. I'm not going to click that as I'm not trying to take business accounting again. I already took that during my undergrad. But so as you click save, it will then enroll you in class for that section, unless of course there's a requirement or there's some reason that it will not let you enroll in classes. Whatever those are, if you have questions, you can always ask your respective coach that you have been communicating with or that you talk with most that can help with these. As well as if you go into the athletic administration office, the people in there, whoever it may be, are more than happy to try to help you figure things out. So if you go to enroll in a class and it stops you for some reason, you can always ask questions if you're unable to figure it out on your own, which is perfectly fine. That is what we are here for. So I'm going to get out of that, and then I'm going to go try to find a different class. So I will reset my filters. And we're going to just go subject again. And this time, instead of business, let's look for a philosophy class. Say that you need to do or find an elective. So your academic advisor very well could have said, you need to take a philosophy class. It doesn't really matter necessarily which one. So if you just type in the subject and don't put in the catalog number, so if instead of, like we did accounting, which was BUS-A201, if you don't have that 201 part, you can just type in the subject or select the subject and click search. And the first one is going to give you, for this example, is going to be Introduction to Philosophy, which would be Philosophy P100, and all the options or sections of that, but it will continue to go through the course catalog in chronological order. So if you need critical thinking, and it allows you to go through a lot of these different course options. Now, if you see here for environmental ethics, which is going to be Philosophy P237, this is going to be offered just on Thursdays from 3 to 4 in NobView. But if you look over here, this instruction mode, like I mentioned earlier, this is a hybrid on campus and online. And if you look in the class notes, it's a hybrid course. So 25 to 75% of your course is online and asynchronous. Some portions are in person with a traditional setting. This can differ. There's a good chance, as most of our courses, especially 3-hour courses. So like if if you look here at units, like I mentioned earlier, this is a 3 credit hour class. They typically meet for an hour, hour and 15 minutes twice a week. This one, as you can see, meets for an hour, 1 day a week. So if you see that, there's a good chance that instead of being a Tuesday, Thursday class, your Tuesday section of this class would be online, and then Thursday is going to be in person, usually at NobView 001. That's not always the case. That's just a general rule of thumb. You will find out the information from your professor after you enroll and if you read your syllabus. But I did just want to point that out, that sometimes that is what that means. Sometimes it'll still say, you know, Tuesday, Thursday, and then you may never meet on a Tuesday, or you may meet, you know, a Tuesday, not the next Thursday, and then you don't meet that next Tuesday and Thursday and so on. It's entirely up to your instructors. But that is kind of the hybrid option. They will vary. You could take the same class with different professors and it'll be different. So just know that it is always up to your professor on that aspect. So that is kind of how the hybrid courses are designed. They do offer a little more flexibility sometimes, but it can also be harder to predict. So if you have a pretty strict schedule that you are trying to, you know, schedule classes around, whether it be, you know, a lifting practice schedule, or you're also trying to work a job as you're, you know, playing a sport and you have practice and everything, they can be beneficial, but sometimes maybe not. So always get clarification from the instructor on the exact kind of schedule. And you can do that by emailing them or even enrolling in it and messaging them, find out the syllabus, and then changing your enrollment as long as it's prior to the add and drop date, which is that first Friday of the semester. That's a little more complex. So if you have questions about that, always talk to your coach or whoever you need to about that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to give a brief overview of that. And then, of course, I'll go through it again. If you want to enroll in a certain section, whatever it is, so say you want this hybrid section of environmental ethics, you click on the caret and then you go down to either add to cart or enroll. So after you've done that for all of your courses that you need, if you go over to your left-hand side, you can look at enrollment and you can view or drop classes. So I'm currently enrolled in a couple different grad classes, so I can try to show you guys this. If you are scheduled in all your classes, you can see the units that you're enrolled in. You can add them up, or it will tell you enrolled units at the very top. So especially for eligibility purposes, if you need to be in a minimum of 12, which you would be during season, you can make sure you're enrolled in enough here, or if you need to be in 15 for whatever reason, or 18, whatever it is, you can see that here. It'll tell you all the same information that you saw when you were searching for the classes. Then for some reason, if you need to drop, this is where you would drop them. But a good rule of thumb, this isn't exactly relevant to enrolling in classes, but if you ever need to switch out a class, always add the other class first and then drop. Don't drop and then add. It'll always save you. And if you have questions, always ask your coach or one of the administrators in the athletic office, and they'll be more than happy to help you with that, whoever it is. But always add and then drop. Or if you need to obviously swap a class, so say you're in the strategic cost management and it was in person, or we'll use the ops and supply chain management that's on Tuesday, but you need it to be online. Clicking swap classes will allow you to just flip your enrollment rather than unenrolling and then re-enrolling in a class. Enrolling for courses can be somewhat confusing and difficult at times. So if you have questions after watching this video, you can always ask questions. Your academic advisor is a great place to start on getting some help, as well as your teammates, your fellow classmates, whoever may be, any, you know, relationships that you have with different people that are also enrolling in classes can help. You can also ask your coaches, the athletic administration staff, kind of like I've mentioned a few times. But if you have any questions, please ask. But this is obviously a very important step to completing your degree and graduating. So if you have any questions, always feel free to ask. But this is essentially, in brief, how you enroll in courses here at IU Southeast.